Billy Eppler, Angels general manager, joining us here in the broadcast booth. And pleasure to finally meet you. Thanks for joining us. I know we've had a chance to talk a lot over the last 3 games about the roster construction and who's going to make the team. Is there going to be a surprise selection? But overall, are you pretty thrilled with the 25-man roster you're going into the season with tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough decision to whittle it down. And God, we probably went through, I'd say we went through about 4 or 5 different meetings with our coaching staff, and we just got to the point yesterday where, we almost, put the last couple of names up on the board and almost went auction style. Going once, going twice. Anybody want to interject? Anybody want to offer an alternative opinion? And we feel good about the group we're going with.
But that's got to make you feel good. It was a difficult decision for you guys to make because, the perception coming into camp was, how deep is this roster going to be? But then by the end, what we've seen is so many tough decisions.
Yeah. In fact, I actually called Keith Johnson, our AAA manager, last night and said, I think you got a pretty good club down there.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to have good decisions and tough decisions. And, because we're going to use, God, I'd tell you, we're probably going to use about 45 to 55 players over the course of the season. And having that depth down there in Salt Lake to be able to reach and grab at any time is really important for us.
Billy, there was too much made of the whole left field situation, especially with the plethora of outfielders that were available on the free agent market. Did that make it that much bigger of a deal?
We just tried to honor, a couple of the elements in some of our circumstances here, right? It's a pretty big left field to play. So we're going to try to convert as many balls in play, in outs as we can, and also have guys that give us a really competitive at-bat. That's not guys that go up and take pitches and trophy take, as I like to call it. It's just guys that understand the strike zone and guys that can do a lot of things with the baseball. Guys that make a high degree of contact, guys that can play the short game that Mike wants to play, and also guys that can put a charge in the baseball and take an extra base and so on and so forth. So just try to look for as complete as players as we could and get as many of us as we could.
No, we've been talking about it even in Tempe and even Dodger Stadium. When you put this team together, you also have to think in terms of your ballpark. I mean, this is not an easy ballpark to hit home runs. So you think in terms of contact guys, you can go hit and run, guys that can put the ball in play. How big is that for you?
For us, we looked at our circumstances, right? And we're going to play 81 games in this ballpark. We're going to go play 9 in Oakland. We're going to play 9 in Seattle. We're going to do another 3 in Minnesota, Detroit, and Cleveland. We got 3 more in Tropicana Field, and then we're going to have 3 in Dodger Stadium. So you add all that up, that's 70% of our season is going to be played in ballparks like this, or ballparks that play like this. So if you go out and you go get a 15, 18 home run hitter, it's going to be mitigated, right? But more of the balls put in play, we convert those into outs. Those players actually have their strengths more accentuated in our environment.
That makes sense, especially when you think about it. And the excitement, we've talked about it from the players, the coaching staff, and it all seems to be going towards where you started this at as far as the type of players you want, as far as the excitement for these hit and runs we've seen. They scored a run earlier this game without a hit. You got an error, a bunt over, and sac fly, situational hitting. That's the things that helps you win, in my opinion, and we've talked about it, win World Series. Look, the team has won the World Series last year, the year before, the same thing with San Francisco, the teams that do the little things.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's funny because, being around this coaching staff and getting to know these guys, I mean, they leave no stone unturned. There is no detail that is too small for these guys. And it's fun to put players that have that skill set in front of these guys and watch what they can do with them.
That ball going off of Russell, so Cron will end up at third base. Giovanni Soto, one of the signings that you had this offseason, had a veteran guy to a young player in Carlos Perez, that did a nice job kind of maturing as the season progressed last year.
Yeah. I mean, all of our homework, and all the conversations that we had this winter, told us that, first of all, Gio's a really, really good baseball player, right? I mean, he fits the types of players that we're gravitating to, but also, his impact in the clubhouse and how he mentors young players. I mean, that's going to pay dividends for Carlos as he continues to grow as a major league player.
Yeah, he was telling us during his rookie season, in which he won the Rookie of the Year for the Cubs, that Henry Blanco was that guy for him.
Correct.
And now all of a sudden, you fast forward and he becomes that guy. That's we were just talking about that a minute ago about backup catchers and how important the role that is for guys. Not saying that he's going to be the backup, but you never know. But
yeah, we don't know how it'll slice up, Right. But yeah, there's a little bit of pay it forward there now for Gio, and so he'll, maybe he catches 60, maybe he catches 80, maybe he catches 100. That's up for Mike to determine.
When you're making that deal this winter for Anderson Simmons. How difficult was, Eric Ibar, he's a fan favorite. He's done a fantastic job and some winning teams here with the Angels and a couple prospects. But when you have a chance to get a guy so special like Simmons, and we talk about defense being a premium, how difficult was that to do so?
Yeah, it was really difficult. I mean, as you can probably attest, right? 6'5" left-handers that touch 99 don't fall out of trees.
Yeah.
So giving that away really hurt. And giving away Eric Ibar, in that situation, who's a guy that was a glue guy in that clubhouse, and a guy that a lot of fans and shoot, even myself, being across the country and playing against the Angels in some very meaningful games, I'd watch what Eric did, and I watched the impact that he had. And that was a really difficult decision. It was one that we deliberated on for quite some time.
Is it a little bit easier coming from a different organization where you do not have the emotional attachment per se of watching the kid grow up within your organization to make the trigger, pull the trigger on a deal, something like that?
Perhaps. It's hard for me to answer, in year one, because this is my first time actually really executing or being the final say on some of the trades. But it stands to reason that there's some merit to that, and I guess I'll be better equipped to answer that as we go on.
Aside from the players on the field that were brought in, and we were talking about the seven new faces on the 25-man roster from a season ago, new faces in the front office. Some have been here before. Bud Black, who's in the booth. But what's that been like for your front office to kind of get acclimated and hit the ground running when you took over?
I mean, it's been an important objective for us, to get that group together as much as possible. A lot of the guys are actually moving. Some of the guys are moving from the East Coast. A couple of guys are moving from the Pacific Northwest. And so we're trying to get everybody together as quickly as possible and have a presence in the clubhouse and be around our coaching staff a little bit more and do more activities together and just really try to marry the group together as much as possible. So definitely an objective.
How important is that to have people that you're familiar with, you're comfortable having these conversations with as far as personnel or even whatever it's going to be, even defensive shifts and the data being shared? How important it is to be able to have the guys that you're comfortable with?
It's very, very important. And it's really important for our coaching staff to be comfortable with them. So, we invite the conversation, we invite the discourse of challenging. Here's some of the data, and here's where we're saying that maybe we want to put our second baseman, or maybe where we want to put our shortstop, and then show them the methodology of how that's baked in. What are we doing? How are we determining that that's where he should go? Let them ask challenging questions. Take it to the players. What do you guys think about this? And really have that dialogue. I can go back to a couple of years ago. One of the players that was with the Yankees when I was over there. He brought up the fact of shifting and his pitch types, and so we looked into it more, and it just showed that there was some merit to it.
Billy, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us, and
thanks, Billy.
for your first go-around with us, you did a heck of a job.
Thanks.